you guys are not inputting any of your, general repair or rehab costs at a minimum to get the best value from what we built at REsimpli, at a minimum, what I would do is I would at least put my marketing expenses and my revenue expenses. Like that's where you'll know exactly kind of how your business is going. More or less like us as real estate investors, or most of the people on this call will really in a marketing business, right? Once we stop marketing in our business kind of stops. Like sellers don't know that we're still buying properties. So you really want to keep track of what is going on with our marketing, not just at a very high level. Hey, this is how much 100,000 I spent on marketing and I made 200,000. You want to know how much money you spend sending direct mail to a specific list. So I'll show you kind of how that works. So once you have added your phone numbers in REsimpli, right? We ask you to assign it a lead source, and we ask you to give it a campaign name. So once you've done that, let's say I'm going to use this Google AdWords lead source and Google PPC as an example. So when I go back into my banking, I'm going to use this as an example. Let's say I go back here, and let's say this is my $1,000 that I spent marketing to that to my Google AdWords. So I'm going to change this vendor to ABC Marketing, and instead of for the account, I am going to select my lead source of Google AdWords. I'm going to type Google AdWords, and once you do that, any campaign that you have running in, it's going to pull up. Any time you select for the account, you select a lead source, whether it's Google AdWords, whether it's direct mail, cold calling, it's going to pull up another option for you to select campaign. In the campaign, that's going to show you all the specific campaigns that you're running for that lead source. So for this one, I'm only running Google PPC. See right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and we're going to show you what this would look like. So if I go into my marketing tab right here, so you'll notice that I have $482.98 spent so far on my Google AdWords marketing. So I'm going to go ahead and input this transaction right here of $1,021. Once I input this, I refresh my account. Should update to like 1,400 something. Yeah, 1,500. And you'll notice that my total money spent on Google PPC campaign went from 500 something that I have, or 400 something that I had, to $1,500 based on additional expenses that I have. And I'll click right here. It'll show me everywhere I've spent the money. All of this data right here is clickable. So you can click right there. And I'll show you another example on direct mail. So you'll notice that for direct mail, I have a probate campaign and I have an absentee campaign. So if I'm going to go back right here, and I'm going to use, let's say I did mailing with Ballpoint Marketing and I spent direct mail. So this $332.25, it's going to pull up all the campaigns that I have in my business that I'm actively running. So let's say this was the money that I spent marketing to my probate list. I would enter this and I would put, mailing to probate list. And then if you want to attach any invoice or, the actual soft proof of the letter that you had from Ballpoint Marketing, you can go ahead and do that. But once I save it and I come back to my KPIs, so notice I don't have anything on my absentee or probate, but once I select refresh the page, go back, this amount got added to probate. So now I know exactly how much money I spent marketing to my probate list. And if you look at right here in total, it will show me most of the investors, they will look at their business at this very high level of, hey, I spent $3,400 in marketing and I made $4,400. Like that's the extent of what most of the investors would look at. But if you really want to get advantage and you want to be very, very efficient with your marketing, what you want to do is you want to look in depth into your numbers. So you might notice that even though if I just looked at on a very high level, if I just looked at my P&L, it'll show me that I spent $3,400 in marketing and I made $4,400 from my revenue. Okay, I'm making 1.3 times what I'm spending on my marketing. But once you dig deeper into your numbers, you might notice, again, these are made up numbers. You might notice that actually the money that I made, I haven't made anything from my direct mail. I haven't made anything from my Google AdWords. I haven't made anything from my pay per lead. All the money that I made is from Craigslist, actually. So I could have not spent any money on direct mail, Google AdWords, or pay per lead, and still made that $4,400 without spending any money on my marketing. So that's where you start getting insight on, which marketing it is that's actually working. And to take it a step further, what you want to do is, let me go into one of my sold properties. Let me look at a different one from. Okay, so this 348 North 17th Avenue came from direct mail probate list, right? So let's say if I am inputting my numbers in the system, what I would do is I would go into this account. Let's say this is my revenue number. And I would say, let's say this was my ABC title company that I sold the property with, and I did 348 North 17th Avenue. And the account would be what type of income it was. Was it fix and flip income, whether it was wholesale, innovation income, whatever it was, whether it was rental income, you want to make sure you categorize, you input that properly right here. So I am going to do, let's say, I'm just going to, for this purpose, I'm just going to go ahead and select rental income, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like on my P&L and everywhere else in my system. So I go ahead and select rental income. Say method was transfer. I go ahead and save it. So once I come back here, you'll notice I have nothing over here. Once I refresh my transactions, come back into my marketing, you'll notice that now I have $10,000 that I made from my direct mail. And when I expand it, it'll show me that the $10,000 actually was made from my probate list. So based on the property address that you selected when you were inputting your transaction of 348 North 17th Avenue, the system will automatically recognize that this money that you put towards that property, 348 North 17th Avenue, was from direct mail. And even within direct mail, it was from probate income. So it would go ahead, it was for probate campaign. It would go ahead and automatically attach that, take that income, attach it with the probate campaign that you have running in your business. And then if you come in, if you were just looking at very high level on your direct mail marketing, you would notice that, hey, I spent $827, I made $10,000. This is fantastic. For every dollar that I'm putting in, I'm making $12.09. But if you go even a step further, and you're like, let me look at every single campaign that I'm running in my business, you would notice that actually on your probate campaign, every dollar that you're putting in, you're making $30.10. The other campaign that you have running, you spend about $500, but you've not made anything. I mean, again, direct mail sometimes can take 4, 5, 6 mailings, but you want to make sure you're reviewing this data at least on a monthly basis to know how everything is going in your business. You don't want to look at your data just at the very high level. Again, if you were just looking at this level, you would be like, all right, I spent $3,400 in marketing. I made $14,000. Fantastic. For every dollar that I'm putting in, I'm making $4.23. But you peel another layer and you would be like, oh, wait a minute. All the money that I'm making is from Craigslist and direct mail. If I were not doing any Google AdWords or pay per lead, I would still make that money, but I would have $2,500 less in marketing spend. But you take it a step further and have really, really good data, be extremely efficient with your marketing. You want to click right here, direct mail, and then you want to expand this. Once you expand it, you will notice that the money that you're making from direct mail is only from your probate list. The other campaign that you're running in your business, you spend $500, you've not made anything. So you really, really important that you track your numbers at that level. And then once I go into my report and I go into my income statement, now it will neatly organize my income based on the income type that I have. So it will show me that I made total $14,426 in income. Out of that, $4,400 came from my novation income, and the other came from my rental income. So this way you can start seeing, as you start buying and selling a bunch of properties, you'll start noticing that majority of your income might be coming from novation, or it might be coming from rental, it might be coming from wholesale. So it gives you really good input on data on kind of what income time is actually working in your business. And then right here in this last two columns, you'll notice what percentage of the expenses that you have what percentage of the income that they make for the expense. So for example, I spent total legal and professional $1,600. That is 11% of my total income I spent on my legal and professional. On my marketing, of all the revenue that I have, 23% of my revenue that I had so far for the year, I spent on my marketing. And then on the repairs, I spent about 65% of my total revenue has gone into my towards my repairs that I have in my property. And then you look at my net profit, it's only $77.56. So like right now, I'm only making like 0.54% of my total revenue. Ideally, you want to be at least I would say like 40 to 50%, to be efficient. If you're not there, I mean, again, depending on whether you're paying yourself a salary or not, but I would look at least like if you're paying yourself a salary, depending on how much you're paying, at least like I would shoot for 30 to 50% range for net profit after all the costs that you have in the business are paid. You don't want, this number to be 40% and you're like, hey, this is great. My net profit ratio is 40%, but you're not paying yourself a salary. Because if you were to step away from your business and bring somebody on as a CEO or COO, you would have to pay that person. So that 40% or 30%, whatever that might be right now, if you're not paying yourself a salary, or if you're not paying, or if you're not adjusting for that salary, it's not really a true number that you have in your business. You really want to make sure that you are factoring for that also. And I would shoot for like 30 to 50%, again, depending on whether or not you're paying yourself a salary or not.